Hey everybody, it's Professor Hatch. I am here to talk about the compare and contrast essay, which is the third essay you'll be working on this semester. It's actually kind of a involved assignment, so I'm going to share my screen and we'll get right into it. So for this essay, you're going to be comparing and or contrasting Marjan Satrapi, Malala Yousafzai, and Ta-Nehisi Coates, who at this point in the semester you will have read. You will not have read all of Marjan Satrapi's graphic novel, but you'll have read enough of it to be able to start working on this assignment. Anyway, and the other two, of course, you'll have seen the Malala documentary. You'll have read Ta-Nehisi Coates at this point. That was weeks and weeks ago. So Marjan Satrapi grew up in Iran in the 70s and 80s during the Islamic Revolution. Malala Yousafzai grew up in Pakistan in the early 2000s. Ta-Nehisi Coates grew up in Baltimore, coming of age in the late 80s, early 90s during the crack epidemic. All three of them had educated parents, or at least one educated parent. All three encountered violence and extremist worldviews at a young age, yet they are all very different people. This assignment is asking you to choose only one of the following themes: prejudice, poverty, education, war. Once you've chosen one of those themes, you must then analyze the similarities and differences of Marjan Satrapi, Malala Yousafzai, and Ta-Nehisi Coates in the context of your chosen themes. So if you're choosing to look at three of them through the context of education, you might want to focus on how all three of them seem to feel about school. Malala would be an obvious proponent of education and schooling, but would Ta-Nehisi or Marjan feel that way? What evidence can you find in the various texts for your answer to that question? While working on this essay, of course, please feel free to use the essay template, which again is just a pre-formatted MLA essay. I personally would love it if you would use that template. That would mean I don't have to grade you down for formatting reasons, which is dumb. Let's look at the requirements of this essay. I really don't like grading people down for formatting. I have to, but I don't like it. I would much rather grade people down for a mistake on something that mattered much more, like essay structure or incorporating evidence. Anyway, the requirements of this essay, like the previous two, no less than 1,000 words, plus a works cited page. The only sources you're allowed to use for this essay are from the three texts, and a film can be considered a text. The Complete Persepolis, He Named Me Malala, and Between the World and Me. There are, by the way, filmed versions of Between the World and Me and Persepolis. The Persepolis film is especially, I mean, it's a good movie. It's fun. If you want to watch it, I recommend it. But it's literally like half of the graphic novel, maybe. So by all means, feel free to watch that, but don't watch that instead of reading it. Please read the graphic novel. Likewise, with Between the World and Me, there's like a documentary kind of version of this. I've seen parts of it on HBO. It's all right. Please don't watch that instead of reading this. You're going to need to be quoting from the texts of those two things. And of course, you'll be quoting from the Malala movie, the documentary, He Named Me Malala. And I think you can find a transcript of that movie. I can't even remember where the hell it's called. It might be just scripts.com or filmscripts.com. I'm positive if you type in transcript, He Named Me Malala, you'll find the link into Google. Feel free to use that site to find the quotes you want to use from that movie. But watch the movie. Without watching the movie, you're not going to have a context in your head for what it is Malala is about. And what, it takes like an hour and 45 minutes to watch. Hour and 40 minutes. It's just not that much time. Anyway, moving on. The only sources you're allowed to use for this movie are from the three texts, the film, and the two books, or the film, the graphic novel, and the autobiography by Coates. You also have to use all three of them as sources for your essay. You can't use just two. You have to use all three. Each body paragraph has to have at least one quote from at least two of those sources. And I'll go into how I would organize that in the video I make for the outline for this essay. But for clarification here, each body paragraph will quote from at least two of the texts. Your essay must examine only one of the four themes listed above. So again, prejudice, poverty, education, or war. You're just going to be looking at how each of these people, reacts to or feels about prejudice, poverty, education, or war. Obviously, if we're doing war, then for Ta-Nehisi, it might be more of a like war on drugs thing, like maybe more metaphorical, whereas Marjan sees the literal results of war, actually sees some bombings and some horrible shit as a young girl. And Malala, of course, while not actually in a war, gets shot in the head. So she certainly had, I don't know, warlike experiences. Your essay must be written in a formal academic third-person tone, college level grammar, spelling, blah, 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 blah. All the rest of that is the standard stuff that at this point I hope you've read. So that's really what's going on. I'm going to stop the screen share here. You're going to choose one of those themes, and then you are going to write about how Malala and Marjan and Ta-Nehisi feel about or react to that theme, whether it's education or poverty or war or prejudice. I almost forgot the fourth one. You're gonna just write about that. Each body paragraph will have a quote from two of these texts. And again, I'm gonna make a video in about 30 seconds here going into how I would go about structuring it for the outline assignment. And I would highly recommend watching that. For now, though, I think I'm done with this video. If you have questions, as always, please text me and remind, or get a hold of me on Zoom for my office hour. And if you need to, we can do a one-on-one. Just text me on remind and we'll work something out in terms of scheduling it. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.